होस्ट जो है अभी हमारे फर्स्ट वेबिनार में प्रेजेंट होने के लिए सबका बहुत बहुत थैंक यू करती हूँ। वुमेन सेल में एम तो ये था ही कि हम काफ़ी आपस में एजुकेशनल पर्पस तो सारे ग्रुप्स में होता है वो है, साथ में कुछ वो भी करते रहे सोशल वर्क अंडर वुमेन, हमारा वो IHP वुमेन। तो अब मैं डॉक्टर मृणालिनी को जो हमारे कोऑर्डिनेट कर रही हैं उनको मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि डॉक्टर रचना को इंट्रोड्यूस करें हमारे स्पीकर को, और फिर उसके बाद शुरू करते
So good evening, everyone. So very warm welcome to our first webinar of Women Cell Group. और इसमें हमने बहुत ही अच्छी शुरुआत की फॉर अ वेबिनार, आई थिंक फॉर हैविंग एजुकेटिव एक हमने रखा, बहुत अच्छा किया. एंड कैंप्स ऑफ कोर्स एक प्रैक्टिकल हो जाता है, बट दिस विद अ वेरी गुड स्पीकर डॉक्टर रचना श्रीवास्तव, who is MD Homeopathy, and she's a postgraduate in homeopathy from MUHS Nashik and runs her private clinic, The Healthy Way, in Lucknow. And she has worked as a medical officer under NRHM and as an assistant professor at JVWU Jaipur. She's a life member of the Indian Institute of Homeopathic Physicians and is the National Vice President of Young Women Homeopaths Bharat. She has actively contributed to seminars, workshops, and publications in both Hindi and English. And she's been spreading awareness and advancing the practice of homeopathy in a very beautiful way. So, please, a very warm welcome to her. And over to you, Dr. Rachna.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Um, so, without wasting any time, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll just record it.
So, before beginning, I would also like to thank the amazing women cell of IIHP, headed by Geeta Mungia ma'am. So, thank you, ma'am, for the
Recording in
opportunity.
progress.
And let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is, yes.
बाकी सब अभी म्यूट.
Okay. So, my topic is menarche and its homeopathic support. So, here we will deal with the physical, mental, and emotional aspects along with the hygienic education regarding the menses. So, we will begin. So, we will begin with the introduction of puberty. So, we all know that puberty kya hai? It's a physical, emotional, and cognitive changes when a child undergoes, a girl or a boy, and it is the transition from the childhood to adulthood where the capacity of the reproduction begins. So, typically in girls, it is from about 8 to 13 years, that is the average age, and in boys it is 9 to 14. Now if we talk about the puberty in females, it is basically three things that happen in puberty, that is the thelarche, adrenarche, and menarche. So thelarche is the breast budding, where the puberty begins with thelarche. यहाँ पर पहले breast budding होती है, उसके बाद the hormones begin to play, where the pubic and the axillary hair growth occurs, and after that menarche happens, that is the first menstruation of life. So the important thing is that the above two are the gradual processes which happen, but menarche is the thing where it begins with a date, with a particular date. We can date menarche, but we cannot date the other two. They are the gradual processes. So now these processes are divided into 5 stages, and they were staged by Tanner and Marshall. They were two people who divided them into 5 stages. So the changes were very evident. regarding thelarch and the adrenarch. So this is depicted with the help of a diagram. And after these two happen, menarche starts from the date. Now, if we talk about menarche, we all know that it's the onset of the first menstrual period. And that is the transition from childhood to maturity. Now, the average age in India is 10 to 16 years. This is the usual age from 10 to 16, and the average is 12 to 13 years. Now, this is affected by certain factors like cultural, nutritional, genetic factors. We see that menarche is early in some areas of the countries, while it is the average age is different in some other areas. Also, research has shown that blind girls tend to have menarche earlier than compared to the other normal people. So a lot of things might also impact the menstrual age. Now we will revise a little bit about the physiology of this menstrual cycle, how it begins. So it begins by the hypothalamo-pituitary gonadal axis, where hypothalamus triggers this axis. It triggers pituitary and finally the ovary. So we call it the HPO axis. Now, this is the rhythm of hormones where GnRH, that is the gonadotropin releasing hormone, it stimulates the pituitary. Then pituitary from the gonadotropins are released, and finally the ovaries, they release estrogen and progesterone in the cyclic order. And here thyroid is also very important. It also plays an important role in this. So in this way, the menstrual cycle begins. Now, I have depicted this in the form of a diagram where the menstrual cycle is divided into 4 main phases. Now, the first day is the first day of the menstruation, that is counted as the first day. And typically, it is the 28 days that the cycle is divided. So, the first stage is the menstruation phase. Then comes the follicular phase where the follicles in the ovary starts to grow. Now, one of the follicles will reach the complete maturation, which is known as a Graafian follicle. And if it ruptures and releases the ovum, that is, the process is known as ovulation. If that occurs, then there are two chances, whether it is fertilized or whether it is not fertilized. If it is fertilized, then pregnancy will occur and the menstrual cycle will stop. But in case it is not fertilized, there is no sperm present, then after the release of the ovum, the part left is known as the corpus luteum, and the cycle will enter into the luteal phase, that is the 4th phase. So ovulation is the shortest phase. It consists of approximately 2 to 3 days only, and then later luteal phase will begin, where the endometrial lining will start to thicken and it will prepare for pregnancy. But when pregnancy will not occur because the fertilization has not happened, then the shedding of the lining will occur again in the form of menstruation. So this is the depiction of the whole stages of the menstrual cycle. I have just revised it for everyone. Now the topic of today is the common ailments of the menarche. Now when the menarche starts, when the menstruation, the process of menstruation has begun, there are certain common ailments that are found nowadays, especially. So I've divided them into 4 categories basically. The first is the precocious puberty, the second is the delayed puberty, and third are some common menstrual abnormalities. So I've listed 8 common menstrual abnormalities. And the fourth part is the other issues, which might contain anemia, leukorrhea, PCOD, thyroid, etc. So all these may affect menarche. Now we will deal with them one by one in detail. So the first is the precocious puberty. Precocious means early. That means if puberty occurs before the age of 8, then this is known as precocious puberty. So this is very common nowadays. Nowadays we are seeing that this average age of menarche has gradually declined. since past couple of decades. So there are a lot of reasons. Researchers have shown that since we are living in a world where we are surrounded by so many chemicals, every time we are using cosmetics or chemicals or food packaging stuff, we are ordering food. So there are so many microplastics that we are exposed to, and many other chemicals which are called hormone disruptors, or they are also known as endocrine disrupting chemicals, or EDC. So they are causing an interference in the natural hormones of the body that is secreted, and the microplastics especially, they mimic estrogens inside. So they are triggering this hypothalamo-gonadal axis early than it is supposed to be. So this is known as precocious puberty. Now, as homeopaths, we also need to understand this, because sometimes we give medicines and medicines are not working. So maybe the person is very much exposed to these endocrine disrupting chemicals, or is very much sensitive to them. So it might also act as an obstacle to cure. So as homeopaths, we have to understand that we have to deal with these obstacles as well. Otherwise, complete cure will not be possible. Now, if someone is experiencing precocious puberty, then what are the consequences of it, or what are the ailments that can happen in cases of precocious puberty? So the most common is that they can have a shorter adult height. They can remain shorter compared to others. They can develop musculoskeletal problems, or they might be at an increased risk of metabolic diseases like obesity, diabetes, breast cancers in later life. Then they might also experience fertility issues or emotional issues, then finally leading to behavioral changes and also social issues. Like if you will have experienced emotional and behavioral changes, definitely it will impact your social life as well. So all these are problems that can occur in precocious puberty. Now, how can we support this precocious puberty through homeopathy? So, there are some important rubrics mentioned in the Murphy's Repertory. Usually, I use the Murphy's Repertory in practice. So, I have taken cuts and shots from the Murphy's Repertory. So, the highlighted one medicines are quite important or frequently used medicines. So, I have highlighted them. So the rubrics we can take are: female menses appears proper age before the 30 medicines have been listed here, and I've highlighted the important or the frequently used ones. Then there is another rubric, female menses puberty before. Now this means puberty has not hit. That means there is no thelarche, there is no adrenarche. Means the breast have not developed, and the axillary and pubic hair have not come, and yet the menses have started. So in this case, we can take this rubric, and there are 4 medicines only that are listed here. Then another rubric is menses menarche. First menses appears before the proper age. Here also approximately 29 medicines are given. CPI is mentioned, which is not mentioned in the first rubric that I have shared. So these are the important medicines mentioned in the Murphy's Repertory. Now, amongst these 30 medicines, some important ones are like antim crude, calcarea carb, calcarea phos, casticum, china, cinna, kali carb, phosphorus, sabina, silesia, and sulfur. These are commonly used medicines for precocious puberty. Now, I have given the indications of these medicines in short. Like some medicines we can identify very easily according to the constitution. For example, calcarea carb, kali carb, antim crude, these medicines, they tend to be obese. They have a tendency to develop weight, and they are usually obese, flabby, and chilly children. So you can see, if the girl is obese, flabby, and chilly, then you can think of calcarea carb, kali carb, or antim crude. So it becomes easy to differentiate. Then if we see a girl who is thin, tall, and is growing very fast, then we can think of calcarea phos, phosphorus, or silesia. Then there is sexual irritability, early genital handling. We can think of cinna, sulfur, and phosphorus. Now there is early profuse bleeding. Then we can use Sabina, Calcarea card, and phosphorus. These medicines, they have a tendency of excessive bleeding. They bleed profusely. And we have our weaker medicines, that is, they feel debility or weakness very easily. The medicines are China and Silesia. So these are some important remedies through which we can support precocious puberty. Now, the second is delayed puberty. Sometimes the puberty is not happening until the age of 15 or 16. Menarche is not happening. So there can be a lot of reasons behind this. There can be some chronic or systemic illness or malnutrition, especially in the low classes, low socioeconomic background, we can see malnutrition or anemia or such kind of things. Or there can be grave genetic disorders like Turner syndromes, etc., where this delayed puberty can occur. Now, if delayed puberty happens, what are the consequences or what are the problems a person can face? So, again, they can also experience a shorter adult height. Also, they are at risk of chronic illnesses, malnutrition, diabetes, breast cancers, etc. They can also have a low bone density, leading to various musculoskeletal problems. They also can experience fertility issues in later life and can face, of course, the emotional issues, behavioral changes, because they cannot mix up in the society or mix up with the friends because they feel they are different from others. So this will give rise to behavioral and social issues. Now, how can we support this delayed puberty with homeopathy? So again, I have taken some rubrics from the Murphy's repertory, and I have highlighted the important medicines. Now, there are two rubrics we can use. Female menses delayed in girls. There are 52 remedies mentioned, and you can see some medicines are listed in first grade. And there is another rubric, that is menarche delayed. Most of the remedies are common in both the rubrics. Now, the most common or the most frequently used medicines, some top ranking are Aristolochia clematitis, Aurum, Berita carb, Calcarea carb, Calcarea fos, Carbonium sulf, Casticum, Ferrum, Graphitis, Kali carb, Califos, Lyco, Mac carb, Natramune, and etc. So now again, the constitution or the physical makeup of the child can give you a little bit hint about the set of medicines that you can use. For example, stunted growth or childishness, if you will see in the girl, then you can think of Berita card or Calcarea card or Graphitis. Again, if the constitution is thin, tall, rapidly growing, or emaciated, then you can think of Calcarea fos, Natrum mu, tuberculinum, or zincum. If there is a tendency to anemia or chlorosis, then we can think of Ferrum, Pulse, and Califos. If there is extreme nervous weakness, then we can think of sepia, casticum, zinc, or califos. And if there are prominent emotional or mental causes, then we can think of natramure for grief, pulsatilla who are extremely timid, and aurum if we get to know about the suicidal tendencies or depression, then we can use aurum as well. Now, the third is the menstrual abnormalities. So, I have listed 8 common menstrual abnormalities that we frequently see. That is amenorrhea, usually the secondary amenorrhea that we will talk about, because primary is like they will not come to homeopaths usually because that is the genetic disorders, etc., and they cannot be treated as well. But mainly that we talk about is the secondary amenorrhea, that is the menses have already established properly and after that they have stopped or get or suppressed. So the second is dysmenorrhea, that is the painful periods. Then oligomenorrhea, that means infrequent cycles. That means the length of the cycle is more than 35 days. means the periods are coming after 35 days or even more, sometimes 2 months or 3 months, every 3 months periods are coming. So that is oligomenorrhea. Then polymenorrhea is the frequent periods. That means the cycles are of less than 21 days. Then hypomenorrhea is the scanty periods. That means the quantity is very less. That is only for 1 day or only for few hours it is happening. That is hypo. They are regular, but the quantity is very less. Then there is menorrhagia or hypermenorrhea, where there is excessive bleeding. For example, for 6 days at a stretch or 7 days, the girl is bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. Then metrorrhagia is bleeding between the periods. The periods are coming time to time, but in between also there is some spotting, or for 2 days or for 3 days there is bleeding between the periods. And the eighth one is the premenstrual syndrome, which consists of a lot of symptoms like the GIT symptoms, or there is breast tenderness, and there is some emotional issues as well, and a lot of acne, etc. So these are the things. Now we can see how we can support these abnormalities through homeopathy. So there is another important rubric mentioned in the Murphy's repertory, that is ailments from menarche, that is puberty aggravation. So there are 40 important medicines listed under puberty aggravation. Then there is subrubrics, boys and girls in. Now since we are dealing with girls in only, we can see that there are so many medicines listed under girls in. Now we will deal with all these abnormalities one by one. So the first is the amenorrhea. So this is the classical types of amenorrhea, like
इतना झूठ बोलना था
sorry. So
You continue, Dr. Rachna. I've muted.
okay.
I'm muted.
Okay, this is the types of amenorrhea that we see. So physiological is that will happen during pregnancy or during lactation or after menopause. Then pathological is the concealed or cryptomenorrhea, and the real amenorrhea, that is actual amenorrhea, that is it is divided into two parts, that is primary and secondary. Now if we talk about the primary or the secondary that we are here dealing with homeopathy is, so the primary is that the girl has never menstruated till the age of 16. Now this there is no actual demarcating line. We cannot say that sometimes it is difficult to differentiate whether it is a delayed menarche or it's a complete amenorrhea. So but that depends upon the case, that we have to deal accordingly to every case. So usually 16 years is marked as the age of defining primary amenorrhea. Now there can be a lot of causes of primary amenorrhea, which I have listed here, like disorders of the hypothalamo-pituitary ovarian axis. Then there are abnormal chromosomal patterns. Then there can be defects in the genital tract, thyroid or adrenal dysfunction, like in cretinism we see. Then there can be metabolic disorders like juvenile diabetes, the type 1 diabetes if the child is having. Then there can be systemic illnesses like TB, anemia, malnutrition. All these things will trigger amenorrhea when there will be no periods. Or due to various reasons, the endometrium is unresponsive to the hormones. Now, the secondary amenorrhea means that the menses had established previously, but now it has suppressed because of various reasons for, you can say, 6 months maximum at a stretch. Now, there can be a lot of factors, causes for the secondary amenorrhea, which are like uterine factors, that is tubercular endometritis may provoke secondary amenorrhea, or there can be some intrauterine adhesions which can be a cause. Then there are ovarian factors which are very, very common nowadays, like PCOD or premature ovarian failure, or pituitary factors, hypothalamus. So all these factors have been listed for the reasons of the secondary amenorrhea. Now, if we talk about the homeopathic support of amenorrhea, Now, there are a lot of rubrics mentioned in the repertory. First, we see that amenorrhea itself is mentioned, like amenorrhea, menses absent. So there are 172 remedies. Quite a lot of medicines are given. And girls in young, if you see a sub rubric, there are only 2 medicines given. Now, since we are dealing with menarche or puberty, so we can take this sub rubric as girls in young. So Ignatia and X-ray is mentioned here. So these are 2 important remedies if we are dealing with children around the age of menarche. Then there is another rubric. Now, this rubric can be considered for the primary amenorrhea, that the menses have never happened. We can take this for primary amenorrhea. Now, the second rubric which is mentioned is for female menses suppressed. That means menses had appeared first, but now they have been suppressed due to various reasons. So for secondary amenorrhea, we can take this rubric. Again, I have highlighted some important medicines which are important or frequently used. And also I've mentioned some sub-rubrics like girls and young, you see only single medicine senecio is given. So this is quite an important remedy in young girls or girls around the menarche. Then we can also think of young women in. There is a rubric young women in. We can also take this rubric where 4 medicines are given: Calcarea fos, Natrum mur, Vodophyllum, and Pulsatilla. So these are the frequently used ones. Then we can have an idea about the constitution of the child. Like the plethoric, we can take the plethoric women in. There are 12 medicines given. Veratrum viride is given in bold in plethoric women. And scrofulous women also, we can see Perita carb, silicin, sulfur are in second grade, and the other medicines are given as well. In scrawny women, you can see a single medicine is given, Secal Cor. And in thin women, 5 medicines are mentioned: Epis, Argentum nitricum, Nux vomica, Phosphorus, and again Secal Cor. So in this way, we can make our prescriptions easy by finding out some rubrics which are oriented to that particular age or that particular constitution only. So this is about the secondary amenorrhea that we can take help. Now, another rubric that we can use is menses appear as if would. Sometimes patient says that it ऐसा लगता है कि आज आएगा, आज आ जाएगा या कल आ जाएगा. They feel that it will appear, but it's not coming. So we can take this rubric in that case. Now, these are the important remedies or frequently used remedies that I have listed under some headings like delayed puberty, sluggish girls. You can use Calcarea carb, Calcarea fos, Graphitis, Silesia, and Lycopodium. Then there is anemia, amenorrhea due to anemia. If we see, then we can use Ferrum, Calcarea fos, Natrum mur. If we find some emotional causes, we can think of Ignatia, Lachesis, Natrum mur, Nux moscata, and Pulsatilla. If we think there is venous stasis or bearing down along with, usually these symptoms are not seen in young girls, but still if we find them, then we can think of sepia and sulfur. And if the usual medicines fail, if we think some medicine is indicated and if it is failing, then we can think of senecio, Aristolochia clematitis, and X-ray. X-ray is also a medicine that is supposed to trigger the vital force so that the menses will come on, or the indicated medicines will start to work well after giving X-ray. So now we come on to the second, that is the dysmenorrhea. Dysmenorrhea is basically divided into 2 parts, that is the primary or the spasmodic one, and the secondary or the congestive one. Now, primary is the usual dysmenorrhea that we get to see in young girls. That is the one where there is no identifiable pelvic pathology. Means there is no pathology. So the pain is only due to the spasms of the muscles because of the excessive release of the hormones or the prostaglandins. So that is why that uterine muscles will have a spasm, and which is causing the dysmenorrhea. So this is the usual dysmenorrhea seen in young girls. The other one is the secondary or the congestive. Now, this is the menstruation that is associated with any pelvic pathology. There can be any pathology. For example, there can be endometriosis or adenomyosis or fibroids or any other thing which is triggering that congestion or increased vascularity around the uterine part, around the uterus, and causing that congestion and leading to dysmenorrhea. So the characteristic differentiation is that in primary dysmenorrhea, the pain increases when the flow increases. More the flow, more the pain. That is spasmodic dysmenorrhea. And in case of congestive dysmenorrhea, the pain will relieve as soon as the bleeding will start. As soon as the menses begin, the congestion begins to go down and the pain also is relieved. So secondary dysmenorrhea is usually seen in older women, not in the young women, because pathology takes time to develop. Then there is another two other variants of dysmenorrhea, that is membranous dysmenorrhea and ovarian dysmenorrhea. Now membranous is a variant of primary dysmenorrhea, but it is very rare. Now in this, big casts of endometrial lining are shed. So whole membranes are shed. That is membranous dysmenorrhea. It is usually very rare and not seen in girls around puberty. Then ovarian dysmenorrhea, this is also like the congestive dysmenorrhea, where the pain begins before menses, 2-3 days before menses. It is dull and continuous, and it is because of the irritation of the ovarian nerve or sclerosistic condition of the ovaries. Now I have listed some rubrics from the Murphy's repertory of all the types of dysmenorrhea that we can use. So for primary dysmenorrhea, we can use pain, uterus, menses during, or beginning of at, or cry out compels her to during. That means there is a lot of pain, so that it is compelling her to cry out. So, and in case of secondary or congestive dysmenorrhea, we can use pain, uterus, amelioration during. That means the pain is relieved. And we can also use pain before, means pain is before the menses. Then in case of membranous, the rubric itself is female menses membranous. So we can see the medicines I have highlighted. And in case of ovarian dysmenorrhea, pain, ovaries, menses, aggravation during. So there are a lot of medicines listed in this. Now, if we talk about or discuss about the important remedies, then in case of primary or spasmodic dysmenorrhea, the better by warmth, pressure, or bending double, there is clear indication of Magfos, Colocynth, or Chamomilla. Where there is a constriction band-like pain, there is Cactus. If there are labor-like pains radiating to thighs, that means there is excessive pain and they are extending to thighs, then there are two medicines that we use, Simicifuga and Viburnum. Because more the flow, more the pain. That is the characteristic symptom of Simicifuga. Then if the pain is radiating or neuralgic pain, then we can use Xanthoxylum and Coculus. If emotional or mild, we can use Pulsatilla. If irritation is more, then Chamomilla and Nux vomica is indicated. If we see tubercular constitutions, then tuberculinum can be used. Now, in case of secondary or congestive, if the puberty occurs in thin, tall girls and it is delayed and dysmenorrhea is seen, then we can think of Calcarea fos. Then if the venous congestion and the left-sided pain is more and characteristically pain is better by the flow, then we can think of zinc and lachesis. The differentiation is that zinc will have a lot of fidgety feet. They will be very, very restless. The neuralgic symptoms will be seen in the zincum patient. And Viburnum is also a very, very important remedy in case of congestive dysmenorrhea. Now, if we cannot think of any remedy or there is no clear indication of any remedy, then we can also give folliculinum, which is the homeopathic estrogen. That is also very, very a good remedy for this secondary type of dysmenorrhea. Now, for membranous dysmenorrhea, where huge casts are shred, then we can think of borax, lac caninum, and cyclamen. Where the spasmodic pain is better by warmth and pressure, we can think of Macphos and Chamomilla. Where there is profuse hemorrhage and huge clots, we can think of Sabina and Trillium. Sabina, there is a mixture of this blood and clots. So there will be fluid also and there will be clots also. Now, puberty pre-flow congestion, scanty with shreds, viburnum. Now, around the time of puberty, you can think of viburnum if these casts or membranes are seen in the periods. Then in case of ovarian dysmenorrhea, also I have listed some medicines. Especially for the right ovary, there is lachesis, and especially for the, for the left ovary, there is lachesis, and especially for the right ovary, there is palladium. In both the remedies, the flow, the pain is better with the flow. More the flow, the pain will be relieved. So, and again, zincum, we see that there is neuralgia, there is restless feet, plus there is pain will be better with the flow. Now we come to the oligomenorrhea. Oligomenorrhea is about the frequency, that is the menses is too late. So we can use the rubric female menses late too. So there are so many medicines, 190 medicines are listed under this rubric. And but if we see the sub rubric, there is a sub rubric girls in young. Only 4 medicines are mentioned in this: Epis, Calcarea fos, Coculus, and Graphitis. So these 4 medicines can be primarily used for this teenagers. Then there is another rubric, puberty at. Again, there are 12 medicines listed: Casticum, Drosera, Graphitis, Calicarb, Lachesis, Lyco, Natramur, phosphorus, pulse, sepia, silicea, and sulfur. These are the 12 medicines, and for puberty also mentioned. So both the rubrics we can use and we can find the medicine. Now this oligomenorrhea, the quantity of blood can be profuse also and it can be scanty also. So if it is profuse, you can think of the 9 medicines that are listed under the subrubric, or if it is scanty, you can think of the 12 remedies. Now, the important remedies I have listed under this puberty: tearful, pulsatilla for oligomenorrhea. Then there is climaxis, congestion, lachesis, and sepia. Usually these medicines are not indicated in teenagers. Then anemic, delicate, that is Calcarea fos, Coculus, and Graphitis. These are the medicines that can be indicated in young girls. Then ovarian edema, where we see there is ovarian edema, PCOD also we think of Epis. Then chronic psoric state, sulfur. Now these are polycrest remedies, so we will have a certain idea about why we are choosing sulfur or Calicarb, etc. Because we cannot base our prescription on a single symptom. We have to find out from the other symptoms also, the whole constitution, and these polycrests will be indicated accordingly. Now, in case of hypomenorrhea, where the quantity is very less, the cycles may be regular, they are coming time to time, but the quantity is very less. Only for 1 day the period will occur, or only for 2 days only it will occur, or sometimes only for few hours, only to 6 to 7 hours only the period is happening. So in that case, scanty, you can use these medicines that I have listed, and I also have highlighted some of the important remedies like Natramur and Nux moscata. You can see Nux moscata is mentioned in so many subrubrics. So it is an important remedy for hypomenorrhea. And also sepia is mentioned in a lot of subrubrics. Now, along with scanty, we can also use another rubric, that is short too. So that the menses is scanty and also short. So these are the two sub-rubrics we can use for hypomenorrhea. Now, in short too, 1 to 6 hours only, there is single medicine mentioned, that is Lycopus virginica. Lycopus virginica is actually a heart remedy, but it is indicated in females if the menses occur only for a few hours only. So there might be females who have a weak heart also. So this we have to think about. So you can see so many medicines are mentioned. For one day only, you can see CPI is given in bold. Now, homeopathic support for hypomenorrhea. Now, puberty changeable flow, that is pulsatilla, we all know. If there is some thyroid or cardiac link, then we can think of Lycopus virginica. If there is climacteric congestion, then we can think of Lachesis sepia. Again, if they are anemic or weak, there are two more medicines for hypomenorrhea, that is ammonium carb and creosote. Creosote also, the females, if they will come, they will be very tall, they will be very thin. That is the constitution of creosote. Then sulfur has chronic sora and venous stasis. Next, we come on to polymenorrhea. Now, this is the frequency of the menses is reduced. That is less than 21 days, the cycle is occurring. So here, if we see, again, there is so many medicines, 298 medicines are mentioned. Frequent, too early, too soon. But Calcarea phos is very, very important in case of young persons. There is a single medicine mentioned in young persons. That is, if young females are coming with polymenorrhea, we can think of Calcarea phos. Now, in case of polymenorrhea, there can also be the menses can be profuse and protracted. That is polymenorrhea with menorrhagia or hypermenorrhea. Then there can be polymenorrhea with oligomenorrhea or hypomenorrhea. That means periods are coming in less than 21 days, but they are very scanty and very short. And in the previous one, it was that the periods are coming before 21 days, but they are very protracted or very prolonged or huge in quantity. So these are the rubrics that I have mentioned. Now we talk about the frequently used medicines for polymenorrhea with menorrhagia. That means the periods are early also and profuse also. So there are so many medicines listed under early and profuse menses. So important ones are mostly they are polycrest remedies only, like Kaligard, phosphorus, sulfur, tuberculinum, zincum. These are polycrest remedies. But if in case of small remedies, if we talk about Aristolochia clematitis is mentioned as a small remedy in early, profuse and offensive dark menses. Now, the sixth is the menorrhagia or the hypermenorrhea. That means the quantity of the blood is too much. It is too protracted and prolonged. For example, it is the menses are happening for 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, the periods are coming on. Sometimes they come up till the second period only. That means they are coming for 14 days, 18 days, 20 days. And then again, the time of the next period is coming. So the single remedy is mentioned, not ceasing entirely until the next period. Single remedy is mentioned, that is the Ustilabo. Then according to the days, the medicines are mentioned. So you can see the medicines. I have not gone into the detail of this menorrhagia here, because menorrhagia is usually not seen at the age of menarche. Means usually the periods are very low. So this is seen usually in older women. So I have not gone into the detail of this. Again, metrorrhagia is something where the periods are happening between between the bleeding is happening between the two periods. So here the rubric is mentioned, female menses, periods between menses appear. So hemamelis is an important remedy which is mentioned in the second grade here. And in daytime also, hemamelis is the single medicine that is mentioned. Again, metrorrhagia is also not very common in young girls or the pubertal age. For homeopathic support, important remedy is Sabina, where clots and pain is prominent. Then hemamelis is an important remedy where there is dark passive venous bleeding and sore bruised uterus. Ostilago is there for dark and stringy blood. Sepia is there for dark and offensive blood. And ambra gracia is a medicine that is also important in case of excitable and emotional women. These are very, very sensitive and shy people, ambra gracia. Now, the last of the abnormal menstrual comes the premenstrual syndrome. Now, premenstrual syndrome is also mentioned in the Murphy's repertory by the same name. So, 79 medicines are listed, and I have highlighted the important ones. Folliculinum is mentioned in bold in premenstrual syndrome, along with Calcarea and Calcarea fos. Then lac caninum is mentioned, lachesis is mentioned, natramur and sepia pulse. These are the commonly used medicines. They are also mentioned in bold. And especially if there is breast aggravation, if there are symptoms like breast feel heavy or they can be feel naughty just before the periods, then we can think of the medicines like Calcarea, Conium, Kali Mur, which is given in bold, and lac caninum. And also Phytolacca is mentioned in the second grade. Now, homeopathic support for PMS. If the patient is very, very irritable and there is relief from pain, as soon as the periods start, there is relief, then we can think of lachesis. If the patient is very VP or mild, of course, pulsatilla, the most frequently used medicine for females. Again, sepia, if we think that the patient is very indifferent and has bearing down sensation, that is sepia. Then lac caninum is if the breast pains are involved and also shifting in nature. If there is a strong evidence of ovarian hormone or hormonal imbalance, then we can think of the common sarcode, that is the folliculinum. If GIT symptoms are prominent, we can think of pulsatilla as well as lycopodium if it is indicated, if flatulence is very prominent. Then silent grief, we all know, is natramur. Spasmodic cramps is cuprum, and restless feet is again zincum. So this is the homeopathic support for premenstrual syndrome. Now I have summarized what all we have talked about. I have summarized everything in a single slide. That is, we have talked about the precocious puberty and the important remedies. And then, the 10 things that we have mentioned, and these are the important remedies. So now next, the fourth or the other issues, the leftover issues that occur in the puberty age, that is intermittent menses. Sometimes the menses appear for one day, then they will stop, then again they will begin, then they will stop. So that is known as intermittent menses. Menses will occur for 5 or 6 days, but wo ruk ke aayega, thoda aaya phir ruk gaya, phir aaya phir ruk gaya, that way it is. So these are the medicines mentioned, that is pulsatilla, crocus, sulfur, sepia, creosotum. Then irregular menstrual cycles, which is most common nowadays, that is कि उसमें कोई regularity नहीं है. Oligomenorrhea is कि time is more than 35 days, but आ रहा है, it is regular. Polymenorrhea is it is less than 21 days, but आ रहा है, it is regular. But in case of irregular menstrual cycle, there is no regularity. Sometimes it is before, sometimes it is late. There is nothing is permanent. This is also a feature of PCOD. Now, PCOD is there where we can see that there are visible cysts in the both or single ovary. That is PCOD, and also the androgen level is very, very high in PCOD. So there we can diagnose it as PCOD. Now, the frequently used remedies are colocynth, lachesis, epis, sepia, puja, palladium, euphorynum, and folliculinum. For leukorrhea, I've mentioned the most commonly used medicines, that are pulsatilla, sepia, calcarea carb, graphitis, borax, and illumina. In borax, we all know that the leukorrhea is very, very acrid and irritating. Then hypothyroidism because hypothyroidism triggers amenorrhea and other menstrual abnormalities. So the important medicines are Calcarea carb, which is highly indicated in case of hypothyroidism because the person tends to gain weight. Then there is graphitis. Again, they are also very overweight and obese. Then sepia, lycopodium, and thyroidinum. Thyroidinum can be used as an intercurrent as well. Then there is abnormal fatigue. In some cases, we see abnormal fatigue uh, in girls. So there can be gelsemium, nux moscata, phosphoric acid, califos. These are all remedies who have prominent fatigue or weakness. Then in case of anemia, if we have a complete diagnosis of anemia, if we know that there is iron deficiency anemia in the child, then we can think of Ferrum mat, China, Calcarea phos, Natramur. Elytras farinosa is also a very important remedy, especially if there are female symptoms associated with anemia, and creosote. And there is another remedy, that is ammonium carb. Ammonium carb is also indicated in case of anemia. Now, I have also mentioned here a rubric of intermittent menses and irregular menses. Both these rubrics are mentioned. In case of irregular menses, there is also a sub-rubric girls young in. You can see only 7 medicines are given. Millifolium, pulsatilla, and sepia. They are given in 2nd grade, and the other 4 are in the 3rd grade. And puberty at, again, there are 2 medicines given, pulsatilla and sepia. Both these remedies are the most frequently used medicines in case of female troubles. Now, apart from this single symptom, we also have to ask a lot of things. We just cannot base our symptom upon a single, that there is oligomenorrhea. That means the periods are coming in 40 days, for example. But we cannot base our prescription upon this single thing. So we have to ask a lot of things. So this is a small questionnaire, especially regarding the menses, that we are supposed to ask. So if you want, you can take the screenshot of this. So these are the things which will help us to repertorize the case. Now, there are some psychological and emotional aspects also which are very prominent in teenagers, because that is the time when they become body conscious. They start to mingle in the society. They start to begin the college, etc. So they are more vulnerable to psychological and emotional diseases or disorders. So they can have anxiety, fear, mood swings. They can have depression or withdrawal, where they stop talking to anyone. They don't go into functions or parties. So we can identify them accordingly, and then we can use the medicines. So for anxiety or exam stress, etc., we know that gelsemium and argentum nitricum, califos, these medicines will be indicated for nervous excitement or anxieties. If they are more prone to depression or grief, then we can think of ignatia, natramur, aurum, and phosphoric acid. All these medicines are also indicated in the female symptoms. So they will cover the female symptoms as well as the psychological aspects as well. In case of hysteria, we see pulsatilla, nux moscata, and moscus. Nux moscata is given in 1st grade in hysteria. And also there is prominent weakness in them, and they will be very sleepy. Nux moscata is also one of the trios of sleepiness. So if in case of irritability, definitely nux vomica and chamomilla will be present in 1st grade. And where there is lack of self-confidence, we see argentum nitricum, silesia, lycopodium, beritacar, etc. So these are some indications of the common psychological disorders that we get to see in the teenagers or the adolescents. Now, these children, they also have some social and educational needs. Sometimes we just have to talk about certain things and they will be normal. We have to normalize certain things. We have to talk about these things. Now, I remember a case 3 years back, a case came to me. This woman with a little low socioeconomic standard, she came to me along with her teenage girl of about 16-17 years of age, and आते ही बोला कि इसका abortion कराना है. So I was like, all these things don't happen in my clinic, you please go to the hospital. So but she was like, nahi, we cannot go to the hospital, you give me the medicine and I will give, and we can't go to the hospital. तो उसकी बातों से मुझे ये समझ में आया कि she was like, उसको ये था कि आप दवा दे दीजिए हो जाए और हमको हॉस्पिटल नहीं जाना है. एंड शी वाज वेरी एंग्री विद द गर्ल, एंड द गर्ल वाज वेरी स्कैरी एंड सिटिंग लाइक दैट. तो थोड़ा बात करने के बाद आई गॉट टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस वाज नॉट अ केस ऑफ अबॉर्शन. एक्चुअली this was the women was thinking that missing a period means that the child is pregnant. So I got to when I talked to the child alone, I let her mother out and I talked to the child, and she said that she has never met a boy, she's never done that, and I don't know how I missed my period. So then I made them understand that missing a period does not mean that you are pregnant. You can miss a period without being pregnant as well. So then this case was an eye opener for me also, because I didn't knew that people were so unaware of these things. They think that missing a period means you are pregnant. So I got to make her, the lady, understand that this is normal and this can happen in 1-2 months. You can skip a period, so it is not that big a deal. So there are still families who don't talk about all these things. It is still a taboo in various families, and especially the families of low socioeconomic status. So we have to talk about all these things, and we have to stop making it a taboo. So this education about all these things are very very important, especially in the school going girls. They should understand that they can miss a period and still that is normal, or they can ask for help at the right place. Then they have to be also be informed about the menstrual hygiene, about the self care, uh, about the balanced nutrition, about the healthy lifestyle, so that the cycles are normal and they develop into a normal healthy individual. So nowadays the hygienic practices, we don't just use pads nowadays, we also use now menstrual cups, and these days period panties are also coming, we are using them also. So you have to make them aware about all these things, and you have to make them understand how they can use them in a better way. So this is also our responsibility as physicians, that we make them understand and we teach them menstrual hygiene. Now, World Menstrual Hygiene Day is celebrated every year at 28th May, where all these things, all these habits are specially taught to young children who are at the age of menarche, so that it does not become a taboo for them and they are able to talk or reach out for help at the right place. Now, these are three most common biochemic combinations, which I have also mentioned, which are very, very useful in this pubertal age. That is the 1 number, that is for anemia, the 13 for leukorrhea, and 15 for various menstrual troubles. It can be used as a uterine tonic. So I've also mentioned the combinations of them. Then, of course, there is important role of diet and regimen. Dr. Hahnemann has talked about the importance of diet in aphorism 259 to 263 in Organon, and we all know that how important a balanced diet is. Sometimes anemia might be a cause which is such a preventable cause. You can just include it in a diet, and we can prevent anemia and prevent abnormal menstruation. So the final takeaway is homeopathy does helps in a lot of physical and emotional factors or complaints around the age of menarche. So it can be used very well in such cases or challenges. So these are my references. These are the books that I have referred to for the presentation. So this was all about my presentation. So thank you so much, everyone. And I hope I made my point. So thanks a lot again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rachna. Such an informative and actually a referral for all of us whenever it comes to menarche and anything related to menses in young girls. So it is a kind of short reference for us, and very beautifully presented the case and the prevention and awareness part. Now, Dr. Geeta Mongia, ma'am, will speak.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rachna. Thank you for joining. मतलब बहुत ही अच्छा इंफॉर्मेटिव रहा है. एक्चुअली मैंने सोचा कि चलो शुरू से शुरू करते हैं, बार बार और टॉपिक्स लेते रह के. मैंने सोचा था फिर मिनार्की है, फिर डिस्पनरिया मेटरोलॉजिया वगैरह ले लेंगे एक टॉपिक, एक पीएमएस हो जाएगा, फिर मीनोपॉज हो जाएगा, तो सारे तो कवर हो गए.
But ये बहुत short है, ma'am. I have not gone into the detail of them.
नहीं, अच्छा रहा ना, मतलब नेचुरली मिनार्की के साथ कंपेयर भी सारा कुछ हो गया कि सारा टाइम ऐसे रहना ही है.
I have a question if we have time.
Yes.
पूछा ही नहीं हमने कि कुछ.
हाँ जी.
डॉक्टर शालिनी आप बोलो, पूछो.
Dr. Rachna, first of all, excellent session. It was very
Thank you, ma'am.
insightful, very like informative.
Thank
Just
you.
a question that when you said about premature menses, you were talking about, you were showing some rubrics. So when a patient comes and she has the menses have appeared well before her age, so how do we help? Like how do the remedies help? I've never treated such cases, so asking.
Actually, the consequences of precocious puberty, like उसको muscular skeletal problems की vulnerability होगी, तो वो सारी चीजें जो हो सकती हैं वो हम help कर सकते हैं, because if the menses have already set in, we cannot stop it.
At that only, no? That
Yeah,
was
but
my query.
hormonal imbalances जो tendencies हैं या जो consequences बताए गए हैं कि they will have fertility issues in later life, वो हम reduce कर सकते हैं maximum.
So the ailments arising thereof.
Ailments we can
Okay.
yeah deal.
All right. Thank you.
जी.
Okay.
चलिए, टाइम तो पूरा हो ही गया. टाइम का पता भी नहीं लगा.
चलिए, बहुत अच्छा आपका इंफॉर्मेटिव सेमिनार था, वेबिनार.
Thank you, ma'am.
इतना डिटेल में आज तक हमने कभी सोचा भी नहीं है, इतना में सबके जो इंफॉर्मेशन मिला है इतना.
बहुत
और डिप्रिसिएशन कर पा रहे कि हर एक सिम्टम्स अलग अलग होता है. इट इम्पोर्टेंट है. ओके, थैंक यू. चलिए,
Thank you, Dr. Rachna. Thank you all. Thank you,
Thank you.
Geeta
Thank you
ma'am.
for the
Thank you,
opportunity.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And,
everyone.
till we meet next time, so have a very happy days ahead. Chalo. Okay.
thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.